Okay. Hopefully I'm on the air. I'm gonna check something here real quick. Um, this is going to be more or less a brief announcement. So let me just check and see where we're at. Okay, I got that part done. Okay, I've got 6 people watching. I guess that's going to be good enough. What I wanted to talk about is there's been kind of, sort of, a development with the, God, this thing makes me look pregnant. Uh, Field McConnell hearing that's going to be Monday. And it's this. I have been in talks, as you know, with the court, trying to make arrangements for when I go down there. And I have been granted permission to text from the courtroom during the hearing. This means that I will be able to give you a minute by minute account of everything that's going on during the trial. I will be able to let you know what the plea is, if there's any developments in the hearing, such as any um, conditions under which he is going to be subject to. Good evening, Glow, and so on and so forth. So you will all know the very second that Phil McConnell makes his plea, what that plea is, and anything else that goes on during the hearing. After the hearing, if there's any paperwork that I can get, I'm going to go to the clerk's office and get it. And when I get back on in Apopka Monday evening, I'm going to live stream and go over everything that's happened both Saturday and Sunday, and there may or may not be some extra things that happen in the meantime. Now, what I am going to do is I'm going to go down to Fort Lauderdale on Sunday, and I'll be staying there overnight because traffic in South Florida is unbelievably bad. And for me to go down, I would have to wake up real early in the morning, drive down there, fight the morning traffic to get to the courthouse, which is in downtown Fort Lauderdale. And what I've done instead is I'm going to be getting a hotel room on Sunday. So I'll be able to get a good night's rest, and then I'll be going over to the courthouse that Monday morning. This will enable me to set up at, I believe, 7:30, 7:45. I will do a brief monologue outside the courtroom. Perhaps, if we're lucky, we'll get a glimpse of Field McConnell or anybody else going into the hearing. And then I will strike the set, go into the courtroom, and the minute I am in the courtroom sitting down, I will start texting live from within the courtroom. Hi, Dwayne. Nice. I'm glad everybody showed up. Now, I'm not going to be on very long, probably about another 15 or 20 minutes, because the stuff I'm really going to talk about is going to be tomorrow and so on. Now, I notified Levi Page that I'm going to be streaming live from the court, and I have not learned whether or not he would be able to go on his channel and maybe live stream with commentary about the hearing, so he could give his take on the events at hand. So if Levi decides to do that, he's invited to come into my Twitter account and take my tweets and use them as material so that he can give all of you a live account of what's going on during the hearing if he so chooses. I also let Alex Goddard know, since she does my commentary with him as well, that I will be streaming live from the courthouse itself, and she is more than welcome to use my tweets if she has access to his show. So there's that. That's okay, Martha, because I was late, number one, and I'm not going to be on very long. The only thing I was doing was letting people know that I will be live tweeting from the Broward County Courthouse during the Field McConnell hearing. I've been granted permission from the court as a member of the press to do that. So I will be an observer in the court, and I will be live tweeting. They do not allow photographs, videos, or recording of the hearing itself, but they do allow texting as long as there's no audio coming from the phone, like little beeping tones like you see on some phones that have the excuse me, that feature. Now, there's been another development. As you guys know, Mr. Holmseth and his protege made another video. And in the video, they claimed that they contacted who they would have contacted would have been the provost marshal at Fort Campbell. And they also wrote to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation and made the usual allegations about me, about Kim, about Levi Page, and a whole bunch of other people, and saying that we are all involved in child trafficking. This is a blatant gaslighting campaign on Mr. Holmes's part. His charges are blatantly false. He's defaming and smearing a whole host of people with these unbelievably wild and despicable lies. And so I did a little phoning on my own. I called the provost marshal at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and said that Mr. Holmseth has claimed to have contacted you about these activities, and I repeated them. And I also gave them a link to this latest nonsense. And they said they have not heard one word from Mr. Holmseth. They are aware of who he is, and they are keeping an eye on him. Apparently, they spotted him on security cameras out in front of a gate displaying his book. He apparently doesn't realize that they have 24/7 surveillance cameras surrounding the perimeter of the base. And they are not pleased to hear what Tim Holmseth is saying about murders taking place on the property, rapes taking place on the property, and bodies being buried on the base. And there may be problems for Holmseth down the road because of that. After a great deal of phoning around the state of Kentucky, I had to first call Nashville. And then after I called Nashville, I was put in touch with the proper person that if he had really sent the letter, it would have been the person to send it to. And they said they have not heard anything from Mr. Holmseth. What has happened is they have heard about Tim Holmseth. Apparently, a number of people, including my prior contact, has gotten through to them, and they are investigating Mr. Holmseth. And if he is barging in to the summer case, there's going to be hell to pay, because they are not happy. They're getting too many people out there butting into this case, making all kinds of theories and making all kinds of threats. And they are running out of patience. The sheriff in the county is running out of patience. The state police are running out of patience. And the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation is running out of patience. They don't like people barging into the case. It's making it harder for them to figure out where this child is. They would prefer it if everybody would just leave the case alone, leave the family alone, and let them do their work. And so there is that. And there are some other developments regarding Mr. Homestead specifically that I cannot get into because I have been told that the development is confidential. But Mr. Homestead and Miss Erickson are about to find themselves in trouble, is about the best way to put it. They have stepped their foot once again into quicksand, and this time there's an alligator in this quicksand. So there's going to be sometime down the road, don't know when, some developments that has to do with Mr. Homestead and Mrs. Erickson. And I will report upon that development when I am able to do so. And other than that, there's not much going on. All these cases are just flowing along, with Field McConnell's case being the first one to come up. And then after Field McConnell, it's a question of whether or not we're going to have the Neely Blanchard case come up first, or if we're going to have that case shoved so far into the future that we're actually going to get Cynthia Absug to come into the coverage arena then. And I will be, unless things change, going to Colorado once again to cover that case live. And under all indications are at the moment that I will be able to do the same thing in Colorado that I'm doing here in Florida, that I will be able to live text from the courtroom. I'm also trying to get extended coverage so that I can at least take still image, live stream the sound, or perhaps even live stream multimedia from in the courtroom. That is still in the works. I'm still negotiating with the court on that. They're still getting a little organized up there because of coming back online from COVID. And, with winter coming, we could be right back to zero because we have the Delta variant out there. And we have other things out there that are kind of muddying the water, so to speak. And so, stay tuned for all of that. And as Levi indicated last night, there may be a felony warrant for Mr. Long. Levi reported that Michael Long has had his parental rights terminated for all his children because he had the bright idea of running away with his daughter. Well, firemen, if I get the opportunity, I will. I'm going to have to feel things out to see if I'm going to be able to say anything to Field McConnell, ask any questions to him of him, and so forth. Because generally, the lawyer may or may not allow him to talk to anybody. It's going to be one of these things that I'm going to play out. See where it goes as things go on. I would very much like to get Field McConnell's impressions of everything that's gone on, even if he's still friendly with Timothy Homestead. He could very well be so enamored with Timothy Homestead that he's actually going to continue to support him. We have no idea. That's up to Field McConnell. But there's also the factor of what is going to be any conditions of the plea deal. And I would suspect that one of the conditions of the plea deal is going to be that Field McConnell is going to have to abide by the restraining order, that is not going to go away. He's going to have to shut up and leave alone about Kim Picasio. He's got to leave the woman alone. He's got plenty of things that he can yammer about on any show, should he be allowed back on the internet, that doesn't involve Kim Picasio. He was working on Zim bonds and all these foreign currencies that have been devalued, so he can go back and do that. I mean, there's all kinds of things that, Field could do. But again, we're not going to know what Field McConnell's attitude is going to be until the hearing. And we're going to have to see what's going to happen after the hearing. Now, if it was me personally, I would be hunting Tim Holmsat down, because he is responsible for Field McConnell being in the situation he is right now. Field McConnell was not even allowed to go to his wife's funeral because they took away his passport. He could not fly over to visit his wife's burial place. He might be able to do that now. Now, once he gets all this legal crap out of the way, he might be able to go and finally pay his last respects to his wife. And, that would be nice. So, well, hopefully, once the dust settles on this, that Field McConnell will get some sense and he will move on with his life, enjoy what time he has left. He's got a huge car collection. He's got a nice house. He does have friends up there, including Kathy, and he could enjoy the rest of his life and not worry about any of this crap. He could explore his theory on 9/11 and the airplanes. We have the 20th anniversary of 9/11 coming up. And while he's not absolutely free to do anything right now, maybe after the 13th, he could do something. And so we're going to see. We're going to see where this goes. It's one of these things where you're just, everybody's placing their bets saying this is going to happen or this is going to happen or this is going to happen. And we won't know that until Monday. It's getting closer, folks. We don't have much time to wait. Okay. I've had a thing here from this Agent Serco, and he said I gave out bad information, and he's made a comment, and it reads like this. Agent Serco, S-E-R-C-O, replied, Field's sister insulted Hawkins, and there was a typo here, catalyst, because up to 2009, Field had no problem with, okay, let me see if I can bring this whole message up. Had no problem with Christine. She did not work with Hillary, as I keep telling you. It was Hawkins that created McConnell, and Timmy was a weaker version of Hawkins. Okay, so whoever Agent Serco is, that's their statement. And so that's his side of whatever this thing is that was going on with Field's sister. I just remembered from what I was hearing from Field in regards to his sister and what people told me about the interaction. All I can do is report on what other people say. I cannot, I don't have the resources to do first person reporting. I can't go to Field and say, Field, is this true? Field, is this true? Field, is this true? Because, it's just the way it is. Now, if Field wants to um, say something about it at some point, I'm more willing to give him a platform. But, you know, I would not be taking tickets, waiting in line for me to interview Phil McConnell. I don't know if that is going to be something that is plausible. But you never know. Stranger things that happen. A couple of years ago, I didn't even know who the hell Phil McConnell was. I didn't know who the hell a lot of people are in this drama. Yeah, one thing we're going to find out Monday is Smirky Kirky right or wrong about what he's been bragging about when it comes to this no controversy thing he came up with. He says that nola contendere means no controversy and that the state is going to make a plea because they have no case. Even though there's 150 some odd pages of testimony, that's a pretty solid case. And it takes a hell of a lot to get a restraining order, even if you're an attorney. It's no easy task, believe me. And yet, here we are. He not only got hit with a restraining order, he violated it and wound up being arrested and served time. He even got himself locked in the hole because he couldn't keep his big mouth shut. And at the bare minimum, he's left his son with one hell of a big legal bill because somebody's got to pay this lawyer, and it's a hell of a lot of money. So, that's if Phil McConnell doesn't go and do something as payback for the trouble he's gone through, then, I don't know what to say. But it's entirely up to Phil McConnell what he wants to do once the dust settles on all this crap. Is he going to let Tim Homestead get away with this or not? There's a lot he can do to make Tim Homestead's life a living hell. And, as I alluded to a little earlier, there's the fact that Phil McConnell was not able to visit his wife at her gravesite, completely missed out on the fact that she passed away to begin with. And if it not been, it was Kim Picasio that made it possible for Phil McConnell to go to Wisconsin to be with his wife after she was deceased. I would suspect that she was already in Europe. I don't think she came to the United States. She died overseas. And so there was no way that Phil could have been with her. I mean, there were some whatever arrangements he was able to make once he got back to Wisconsin, he made. You're right, fireman. The cost is not cheap. It amounts to $100 or $200 per week. And so that has to be paid before the plea deal is accepted. All the court costs that have been incurred to date have to be paid. So if Kathy raised $40,000, and that $40,000 is going to go towards paying all these expenses. Now, it was reported to the court early on that Field's son was paying his legal fees, and he also had to take a second mortgage out on his house in order to pay the bond and so forth. So, let me answer this question. Lee, are you directing that question at me or to Glow? Because if you ever want to talk to me, when I see that direction apparently is directed at uh, glow, so I guess I'll back out of it. Uh, can I interview Kim Picasio after the plea? Believe it or not, I'm working on that. Uh, Now, the only problem there is that Kim is a working woman. She works as a lawyer in that very courthouse. And I don't know if she would have the time for an interview or if she really wants to do an interview. I would think that Kim wants to get this behind her. She's not big on social media to begin with. About the only thing she does on social media, she retweets stuff on Twitter and sometimes she'll make a comment, but she's not really big on it. I think that uh, social media has been more trouble than it's worth and so forth. So she may not uh, be conducive to an interview. But if I have a chance to meet her, I'll ask her if she's willing. If not make an interview, at least make a statement. But that is entirely up to her. And I'm with you on that, Martha. I'm not optimistic that uh, I can pull this off. I don't know Kim Picasio as well as people think. Uh, we have occasional conversations, but they're general and it's just like anybody else. There's no special connection or of any sort between me and Kim Picasio. I'm certainly not a media spokesman for Kim or anything like that. If she has a close affiliation with anybody, it's going to be Levi Page. And Levi Page would stand a better chance of getting an interview with Kim than I would. In regards to a victim impact, I have had no indication that she's doing that. Oh, hi, Weanne. But again, that is sometimes normal in these plea deals or sentencing deals where the victim makes a statement saying that this is how, she's saying all this has affected me and, this is why I've been having troubles and blah, blah, blah. It's up to her to decide if that is what she is going to do. I have no indication at this point what Kim Picasio is going to do on Monday. She will probably be there to see how the hearing goes. And this will be, if that happens, it's probably going to be the first time that I have personally met Kim Picasio. I have never, ever seen Kim Picasio personally, period. We've been going on with different things for 12 years, and I've never seen this person in person. It's always social media contact, maybe a couple phone calls, stuff like that, but that's it. So it'll be interesting, to see what somebody looks like in real life. I used to do this all the time on the internet. Could she get money damages? That's called injunctive relief. And I don't know. I don't know if she's even thinking of monetary damages. Kim Picasio is already worth a pretty fair amount of money. She's not poor by any stretch. She's a woman of means. She's got money. I don't think this was ever about money. It was simply that she wanted to be left alone. She didn't like her name being used all over social media, especially in the way that it was. And so she would be perfectly happy, I would think, to get this behind her and she can go on and live a normal life without having to worry about some moron wanting to execute her or send her down to Gitmo to be put in front of a firing squad or some such nonsense. So I would think she would be very, very happy. Just leave all this in the rearview mirror and get on with her life. She's got, I think one of her daughters is having a birthday or might be getting a learner's permit or something. And the normal things that happen to families is, life moves on. And she would rather spend time with her family, spend time at her job as an attorney, and not worry about all this garbage on the internet. She's pretty well ignored Tim Holmseth and Randy Erickson anyway. She rarely says a thing about them. She absolutely does not care about either one of them. And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But Tim and Randy are going to have something else to worry about besides Kim Bacasio. The information that I have means that they are in for a very unwelcome surprise. And I don't have a timetable as to when this surprise is going to happen, other than they are going to wind up in a situation that they are not going to be happy with. Well, thank you, fireman. The thing of it is, I'm just as interested in this as you guys are. And what's unfortunate is it's very difficult to get real-time information on situations like this because the mainstream medium doesn't consider it important. You don't have outlets like Wild About Trial or Court TV or any of that covering this. And so I'm just willing to do it and at least give some insight as to what's going on with this and get into some of what happens and what generally is a fairly routine occurrence. Plea deals and plea bargains are done, are done every day. And so this is a simple change of plea. I don't expect this thing to last more than an hour or two. It's going to be a lot like the Cynthia Absug hearing where we wait around for Phil McConnell's turn to come up. They go through the motions. Then once the hearing's over with, there's some things that happen depending on what was agreed to. And then once that's over with, everybody goes home. And so I expect to be on the road back to Apopka at around noon on Monday. I may do a stand-up on outside the courthouse, try to catch an interview with somebody, make a brief commentary about what happened, and then off we go. I agree, fireman. There's likely to be some kind of probation and post-hearing restrictions of one sort or another. Exactly what that's going to be is anybody's guess. We've got to basically just wait it out. And we will, you guys are going to be right there on my shoulder, so to speak, on Twitter. For when I live tweet this stuff over Twitter so that everybody knows what's going on. And if Levi or someone else can live stream it on YouTube, those of you who do not subscribe to Twitter will be able to find out these things as they happen. Because I'm not going to be able to do anything on YouTube from inside the court. And so it's all going to have to be done through Twitter live. Now, probably what I'll do is after the hearing, I will come back outside. I'll do a live shot and I'll review everything that I've live tweeted so that you guys know what is being or what was done in the courtroom. Um, did he plead guilty? Did he plead nolo? Or is there any, um, conditions set down other than that he's going to have to follow the conditions of the restraining order? Is Kim Kakazio going to make a statement? Is Field going to make any kind of statement? Is anybody going to make any kind of statement? And what exactly is going to happen from minute one to minute end? There's general procedures in these kind of things, and I'll go over a little of that on Saturday. Well, I don't know what Levi is planning right now, fireman. I sent him an email to let him know, or not an email, a direct message to let him know that I was going to be live tweeting from the court. And that if he wants to, he can just monitor my live tweets and then use those tweets on his show to give everybody on his side of the internet commentary on what happened in the courtroom. And so at 9 o'clock Monday morning, anybody that's not working or is able to get to a computer can do that. Well, fireman, what I don't know how I can do it is the court does not allow streaming from the courthouse. You can text, so I could text to Facebook and I can text to Twitter. I don't know how I can text to YouTube. Now, I use StreamYard as my live stream utility. I do not live stream directly to YouTube. So what I don't know is how I could leave this thing open and come in and text to the chat. And so my alternative is to do it to Twitter and allow someone like Alex or Levi or anyone else for that matter, like Dodger, come on the air on their channel and stream this stuff out. Go on channel homepage and update community post. Yeah, now I don't know how I would do that on my smartphone from court. That's the thing I'd have to figure out. Now, I may experiment a little with that over the weekend to see how I could do that. Now, I have made comments before using my smartphone, and there may be a way for me to do that. But I think the most efficient way is a lot of people in this chat right now are on Twitter, and we all follow each other. And so you guys that are on Twitter could you guys could do that. Now, you guys that are administrators, what I'm going to do is I'm going to schedule the Monday chat for 9 o'clock. When you schedule a live stream, the chat is there for people to use. So you could probably use my chat to do that. Well, fireman, like I said, I'll be on the air Saturday, definitely, and possibly before that. And, there's ways of figuring it out. But, if there's a way, because when I used to have my live stream on Pal Talk, I'd leave the chat open. That led to all kinds of problems. But I'd be sitting there and that thing would be streaming 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and people would use the chat to talk to each other. And that's something like what we could do here. If we could keep the chat open, people would at least have the chat to communicate. And, everybody out there that knows how to do these things could go ahead and do it in my stead. I used to have administrators that did that. And, the same thing can be done on YouTube, where you guys get my posts over on Twitter and then just repost them over here on this channel, so that those people that do not subscribe to Twitter can read them. Because unfortunately, Twitter is one of these things where you have to be a subscriber to read it. But over here on YouTube, anybody can get on the chat and read it because it's not restricted. I don't have a subscriber-based chat. It's free for everybody to use. And the chat will be live on the event after I create it. So you're saying that if I schedule an event for 9 o'clock Monday night, and I schedule it starting, I set the thing up at like 7 o'clock in the morning, then everybody can chat from 7 in the morning on. Well, if that's the case, then that's what we'll do. Because I've noticed that a lot of times when Levi schedules his live streams, that people are actually in there chatting before he goes on the air. I just didn't know how far ahead of time that the chat would be open. If it can be open from 7 o'clock in the morning, then all anybody can do is, if somebody sees somebody who is on Twitter can tweet my post, can copy my post and put them over on the chat, so everybody has real time on YouTube as to what is going on. And this might come in handy for the Blanchard case, and it might come in handy again for the Cynthia Absug case. Because if I can get permission to live tweet on those two trials, then we can repeat the same process we're doing now. And so that would be the way to go. So we'll give it a shot. Now, so I'll leave that to you guys. You guys that are my administrators can probably work it out to however you see fit on the channel. And as we get, well, so far so good, Golden. We seem to be having a clean board tonight, thank God. Now, there is one thing I'm trying to figure out. Maybe you folks that are my administrators can help me figure it out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to there is an individual who sent me a message and says that she was blocked and the okay, she tried to call. There's a individual, let me find, she was either Warrior Mommy or Mommy Warrior, and she has not been able to comment on my channel. And I'm trying to figure out if she got blocked somehow or what happened. She has information for me that is valuable. I just got to figure out how to get her on the air. And it's about something that I was going to discuss on Saturday about David Strait and some other people. And so if I could figure out, I don't know how to check my block list on YouTube to see if this individual's been blocked. And I gotta. Okay, that's an old message. All right, let me see what this is. Okay. Okay, she's in the room, or was, because she just put up a screenshot. Let me go back up because it came up fairly early. So let me go up. Warrior Mommy, if you are in here, try and put up another post. What I'm doing, I'm scrolling back to see where this, you didn't give me a timestamp. Fireman, Rebecca, fireman, Rebecca. Because the way this is coming up is fireman, you were having a conversation with her, I think. But I'm not seeing her on here. I don't know what's going on. Click avatar, then all right, no. Because she sent a screenshot and at 8:11 p.m. So somebody's in a different time zone. So let's say that'd be 9:11 p.m. my time. So she was here right after, because I'm running into this in a couple cases where people say they're blocked, and I personally haven't blocked them, and I'm not sure what's going on. Okay, 9:10, 9:11. Okay, she's not showing up on my stream, on my chat stream, so that means that she has been blocked. So okay. Yeah, the individual has been blocked. Now I got to figure out how to unblock her. It's, let me bring up the, it's Warrior Mommy. And her avatar is a little bit small for me to see it, but it was 8 o'clock her time, because it is a female. And there was a reply from Fireman John, hashtag mama heart smiley, and Laurie said hello Dwayne W. So this was at 11 minutes after the hour. I don't know if she does or not. I don't even okay. She said, I know it's weird, but I am watching and can comment. Nobody can see them. No. Well, mommy, the reason people can't see you is because you are blocked. What happens when you're blocked is when you post, you will see your comments, but nobody else can. It has to be, it's something that YouTube puts on there. And I've read it that when you block somebody, the people will comment, but nobody will see the comments, and they really don't know they're blocked. It's really weird. Okay, so I've got YouTube up on a second screen. So if I go into YouTube Studio, okay, let me go into YouTube Studio. Okay, I'm in YouTube Studio. All right, you experts on YouTube, what's my next step? Now I've read that it's supposedly settings. community, approved users, hidden users, Warrior Mommy. Okay, there we go. Boop. Okay, now I don't know if I've Warrior Mommy, if you're listening, try making a post and see if I fixed it. There was an X by your name and I hit the X, and I don't know if that took you out of the room or removed the block. And I won't know that unless Mama comes in here. Because, it's showing that for whatever reason, she was blocked. Because it had hidden users and it had the X by her right name. Yeah, I just did the save command, Glow. So what I'm going to do is I got to go back over into Facebook. Because she has a Facebook account, which is how we're trying to iron this out through Facebook. Where the heck? Okay. No, I don't want that. There you are. Okay, Warrior. Looks like I don't know how the hell you got blocked. There might have been an understanding on my part because I'm the only one that can block, except for my moderator. So there must have been some misunderstanding. So I apologize for that. I know there was some valuable information that you wanted to let everybody know about. And so when you decide it's appropriate to do that, you're more than welcome to. So we got that figured out. So thanks everybody for helping me out on this situation. I'm beginning to understand how this works. I don't understand how people are getting blocked. I've had this happen a couple times, and it may have something that I read wrong or what have you, but I apologize for it because the only people that are supposed to be blocked are trolls and the high command and Timmy and so on and so forth. Those yo-yos. Because what happens is people come in here and they disrupt the chat and it winds up turning into a circus. And so I had to, excuse me a minute, I got to do something. I did manage to get an air conditioner in the window behind my monitor. One of these little window thingies, because it gets downright hot. The only problem is it tends to freeze my hands because it comes out underneath the monitor right where my hands are. Well, Lee, that's what I'm thinking because I think a number of people accidentally got blocked because we just kind of got into a paranoid mode and we're blocking everybody. And because there's all kinds of weird names come up in the chat room, and sometimes YouTube gets into it, but I don't know why. Oh, excuse me. I don't know why. Okay, nothing's changed there, so we'll get out of that. All right. I don't know why or how these things happen, but it does happen. Now, I've had it happen with comments. Kathy Michelle, I'm going to learn how to pronounce her surname one of these days. Kathy was complaining because she said that a lot of her comments were not getting through. And I think part of the reason is I think YouTube caught them for whatever reason. And, well, that could be it. Because this could be that the information that she's trying to get to me, I don't know. But, that's just. All right, I'll look at that later. I had problems with my editing software tonight, and I contacted the vendor. Okay. Okay, I'm just going through a few messages I got. I don't want sports. Damn cable company keeps trying to sell me sports, and I'm not into sports. Okay. Okay. Well, I've actually gone over time here, like I always do. I didn't intended to stop this at 10 o'clock, but I'm going to go on for a little bit. Uh, but while I am on the air and we got this thing straightened out, if anybody knows of anybody that got blocked that's not supposed to be blocked, let me know. Send me a name. Uh, it's easiest to get a hold of me on my YouTube account or on my Twitter account, or you can send me an email, and we can see if we can find any more people that have been accidentally blocked that we can get unblocked. Because I'm very specific on who I block and why, and I just don't do a wholesale blocking of people. Well, I got a thumbs up about that one. Okay, so, but for the latecomers to review, uh, I will be live tweeting from the Broward County Central Courthouse. Field McConnell is going to be in Florida and will appear at the hearing. This is actually required in order to be proper procedure in the courts. So Field McConnell will be in Florida and be appearing in court. And so that in itself, I guess, is worth the trip down there. Getting into this is over on high command. They are saying the hospitals murdering Americans by prescribing REMDESIVR, which causes renal failure. So I guess you could sit there and drink bleach. And then I did allude about this silly video. Tennessee Bureau of Investigation alerted to organized kidnapping in Summerwell's case. And I have phoned both the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation and the Provost Marshal at Fort Campbell, and neither location has anything from Tim Holmseth or Randy Erickson. And very conveniently, when they put up the quote letters that they sent, no email address. So they claim they sent it to somebody, but they aren't letting us who the somebody is. And so there's no, they seem to think there's no way to backtrace their claim. Well, there is, because I know how to do it. And the people that would have gotten the letter and would have been appropriate to receive the letter didn't get a letter. And they may have made their situation worse by bragging that they have sent out a letter, because now they are themselves being looked at for interfering with the Summerwell's case. So we'll see where that goes. High Command 2, that's a suspended account. So passed out drunk in a dumpster. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know what those two idiots are doing. And it's getting to the point where it's really not, they're no longer relevant. I mean, they post these idiot uh, conspiracy theories, but that's all they do. They do absolutely nothing constructive. And if they are interfering with the summer long case, there's going to be hell to pay because um, they don't like people interfering in this case. They've had a lot of problems with people barging in, and uh, LO, this is interesting. It's I just love how Randy does this. I have got to take a screenshot of this. You guys are going to love this. Uh, she keeps wanting me to go to work for Walmart. I don't know what this obsession is with her and Walmart. Uh, but 6 hours ago, she apparently came across my announcement that I was going to say something about Phil McConnell. And and so she just had to make a comment about it. And see, the thing of it is these people don't do live streams. They do these pre-recordings. And oh, she did it. She made a reply to me. She says, use the TBI email they made public. There's your answer. No, they did not, because I don't see it. Link to it, Randy. I these people are uh well, sensual. Thank you. My looks haven't changed any. I do have to trim this mess up. I finally went back on camera. I had problems with the other camera. It was going out of focus and doing all kinds of weird stuff. So I just went ahead and um, stayed off camera for a while. And so I finally went back on camera. Who is King Moleskin? Or Molsky? I have no idea. But what I find amusing about all this is that um, Fart Force is paying attention to everything I say and do on here. It's really funny. I shall probably put up the stupid videos again. But, they're making false accusations about me and a lot of people. And they know it. They know they're lying. It's fact. They absolutely know they're lying. But they don't care because they're preaching to the choir, so to speak. Let me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this up because this is funny. Well, I was going to put it up. Where'd it go? I kind of hate it when it does it. I got to do that all over again. Every once in a while, this thing acts up. So we're going to revisit the task force. Might as well read comments while I'm doing this. Timeout. All right, put the timeout. But it would be a simple thing. When you send an email to somebody, you put a specific thread in the header so that people know who you're sending the email to. And that's what they didn't do. All they did was transcribe it and claim that they sent an email. So that part, it's just they make these weird remarks about this channel where they say nobody's watching the channel. Well, the channel is channel is not really about numbers. If it stays at where I get 23 to 33 or 133 people in here, that's fine. I'm not out to be a big blockbuster channel with tens of thousands of people on it, which is why I don't understand why a remark like this is such a big deal. Now, let me get this out of the way. Okay, now I got to get rid of sans. Well, that command didn't work. Okay. Now, there's that. I don't know how that works, but anyway. But there's the post that I made when I announced I was going on the air tonight about the hearing, and that I was going to be live tweeting from inside the courthouse. And of course, at the bottom, she goes, "LOL, does anyone watch this? Good Lord, you could have gotten more attention at Walmart being a Gruder." And there you go. Now, what's funny about that is Randy is supporting a place that Lynn Wood claims is selling food contaminated with fetal tissue. So Randy is supporting a company that is alleged to be selling fetal tissue in their food. Kind of hypocritical. Well, Warrior, you're quite correct. David Straight is where they're getting all this from. I think they were trained by David Straight and all that. And so David Straight is where all this came from. This chair is very uncomfortable. I'm going to have to, I'm thinking about buying another chair because this thing, it's an old chair and it's not working. I took my brown one out of here because I thought this one was going to be better, and this one is not very good at all. And I've even got I got one of these little cushions on here. It's like a helper cushion, and it's not. I don't know what the deal is, but I think it's because I sit for hours at a time. You have no idea what kind of a schedule I've had, and I've been doing a lot of sitting and flying and sitting and so on. So there's that. But yeah, David Straight is somebody I'll be discussing in some of the interesting things that have come out about him. But he could say the heart of all this, which we've all known for quite some time. Well, thank you, Sensual. I appreciate that. I'm not sure what's going on there, Larson. They may have misunderstood. I didn't, I think I know why they did it, but I don't, and there was no harm in it. I just, these guys are trying to protect me, and I appreciate that. I wasn't even fireman. I wasn't even reading other than the handsome thing about what was said. Um, so cut them a little bit of slack. As long as they don't get too abusive, I don't mind. Uh, that's funny thing I got to figure out is I'm not getting paid on these super chats. I got to figure that out. Um, I don't know if YouTube does it once a month or what happens, but I have yet to collect anything from YouTube. Uh, and as a matter of fact, somebody sent me $25 to my PayPal account, and I haven't got that either. So I'm running into problems with some of these accounts, um, but I'm not going to worry about it. Well, fireman. You know, I don't know what the deal is. I haven't seen all Essentials comments, so I don't know what triggered your concern, but that's okay. Lewis Berry, yeah, he's she or it. I haven't really been pushing the super chat all that much. I know that. Yeah, they pay out once a month and they take out 25%. Uh, yeah, I haven't gotten anything yet, but I don't know when everybody started contributing to the thing. But if it shows up, it shows up. It's the amounts I'm getting small amounts, and I appreciate everybody doing that. But it's not a huge amount. But that's okay. I'm hoping. Well, if they keep the first $100, it's gonna, it's gonna be a year before I see any money because I think $100. um, oh, YouTube makes a fortune off of this stuff. Uh, Number one, and because of the way my live streams have been going, I have very limited opportunities for monetization. I get this little yellow thing that says um, limited due to content or something. So I don't know. Anybody that thinks you're going to make money on YouTube, you're in for a shock. It's an extremely difficult thing to do. I've been talking to people that have lots and lots and lots and lots of that of subscribers, and they get the super chat and the sponsors and everything else, and they've told me what they've had to do to build up their account, and it's taken them years. It's not one of these things where you snap your fingers and you're instantly a YouTube millionaire. To make even a small amount of money takes forever. So you got to have something else you're doing to make the money. Because if you rely on YouTube to do it, you're going to be very poor. Okay, how does Dr. Tammy enter into all this? Yeah, we've heard of Dr. Tammy. Boy, have we heard of Dr. Tammy. What is that expression? I do not consent or something like that. She doesn't like attention unless it's favorable. She was posted in a selfie as being on the Capitol steps during the insurrection. So haven't really heard about Dr. Tammy at all. It's like she vanished from sight. So I don't know whatever happened to Dr. Tammy. She was she was a big fan of Timmy and those people. I have no idea, Sensual. He is not going to represent Field McConnell. Field McConnell has a bar licensed attorney, a local attorney there in Broward County to handle his case. So, Kurt Pendergrass seems to think that Field McConnell is going to get a not guilty adjudication, and that's not the case. A no contest plea is almost the same as a guilty plea because what happens is that the judge decides your guilt or innocence. And since there has been a plea deal, it is going to be adjudicated as guilty. Now, as to what the specifics of what's going to happen to Field, that we'll learn Monday. I personally believe that he is going to get time served as far as incarceration, and that there is going to be some sort of conditional release, and the case will be basically over and done with. There's a possibility, as Fireman John says, that we're going to have a probationary period. I don't know. Excuse me, I got dry throat. But that is what I believe as well, that there is going to be some probation. Yeah, it's a funny thing. Plum City is a very small town. It's like you sneeze and you're through it. The main downtown area of Plum City, where I filmed the bank, is about a mile long. So it's it's a very, very, very small town. There's not much going on there. It's about an hour from Minneapolis, and there's actually, I think, the nearest reasonably big sized town is about 45 minutes from there, and that's going north and east, or north and east. And so I think if you're going to go where the action is, you're going to have to go west into Minneapolis, St. Paul. What the hell is the Dongerettes? Yeah, the building is for rent. What the bank, there was a claim that the building was sold, which is partly true, but any new owner would have had to honor the lease. The lease was broken out of because Field was not there, and so they made arrangements to break the lease, and so that's what happened with that. But it's an interesting town. There's friendly people there. But Field is very well known in Plum City. I think he's probably one of the most famous people in Plum City. Fireman John, what the hell is a dangerette? It's gone completely over my head. Oh, okay. Well, I learned something new. Yeah, Phil McConnell had some interesting people that surrounded him. What the heck did he say that Google got him? See, this is what I don't understand. I don't understand what triggers Google, because this may have been how some of these people are getting blocked. Dangerettes. Now that makes sense. Thank you, Fern, for clearing that one up. Because what I didn't see that until just now. That's how. When you get my age, you kind of don't pick up on these things. Well, any of these people were a danger to logic and thinking. I mean, look at Tim Holmes as perfect example. But yeah, another challenge unmet. This is typical pattern. They will not provide the email header as to who was sent specifically. When you send an email to somebody, you send it to a specific email account, not just a general. And there's nothing, absolutely nothing on there. And TBI didn't make it public because I asked them. They said nobody sent us anything. And so, it's just that she's going to keep this up, and then she's just going to shut up about it and move on like she did my other challenge. They do this all the time. They reach a point where they're losing the argument and they just ignore it. Or they put up silly videos or something. So. Well, I don't know. Maybe it is. If he or she swore and they caught it, but I use profanity on the show. It's, I don't know. Trying to figure out. Well, that's a good question, Laurie. That's what they said. But if they made it public, then give us the link of where it is. I asked her, I said, where's the link? No link. All they did, if you go over and look at Timmy's blog, all they did, they got a letter, but it's not even, it's a copy, or else they just made the whole thing up, which they do. They make this stuff up because this is the fifth time that they have declared that they have written something to somebody. And I contact the parties and they say, oh, well, you didn't do any, they never. Now, they did when they claimed to write Governor DeSantis, and I'm still working on that one. I forgot all about it. They did put a specific email address. So they were stupid enough to send something to the governor, but they did not do that here with this TBI. They just said, oh, we wrote this letter, but no email header saying to Inspector so-and-so at tbi.org or gov or whatever. None of that. Everybody knows how email works. I don't have to explain it. And if you go in there and look at it, you'll see that it's not a legitimate email. They left out a lot of important information that would prove that well, Lee, thanks for coming in. I will be live streaming Saturday. I might live stream on Friday. I don't know yet. If anything comes up, there's a couple things I'm working on. And I'm glad we got the Warrior straightened out. So I hope I don't run into that problem again. Woo! Excuse me. Getting old and tired. I'm actually running overtime here. Yeah, I'm surprised I'm getting good numbers tonight. I really appreciate people stopping in. I'm still think that Timmy has that white SUV because every time I check with the Georgia Department of Motor Vehicle, or not Georgia, every time I check with the Department of Motor Vehicles, that vehicle is still listed in his name. And it is illegal for whoever owns the car, if it was sold, to be running around with Timmy's name on the registration. The title has got to be changed because there's taxes that has to be paid on the sale of that vehicle. So the vehicle has not been sold. That's one of these claims that Timmy makes that can't be proven. He's trying to get people not to look for that car. So, whoever is printing out the wanted poster, put both cars up there because I'm still of the opinion that he has that white car. So, well, that's true, Glow. Even if they sent it, all I have to do is once I have the information as to who got the letter, I can do a FOIA and get the letter and say, okay, he sent the letter. Now they have sent twice a letter to Governor DeSantis. And at that one, they've at least given an indication that here's the address I sent it to. So it's only a matter of me going to the state of Florida saying under sunshine law, I want a copy of the letter. And that's the end of it. And I just haven't got around to doing that yet. I've got all that information ready to go. And, I'll put that on my calendar at some point. I'll get off my lazy ass and get that letter. And if he sent the zip drive, then the state of Florida, for a fee, will duplicate the zip drive and send me a zip drive because it's public information. They cannot hide documents. There is no investigation of any kind by the state of Florida generated because of that letter. So there's, but there are people who watch and pay attention to them that actually believes that nonsense. And those are the people that they are convincing. They know that they're not going to convince us because we check them out and we disprove them. But these other people that believe in these fantasies, they fall for it. And so that's you're never going to convince these people that they're liars. They're going to have to find out on their own. Unfortunately, Lori, the state of Florida can't do that. Everything that is sent to the state of Florida is public information. Under the sunshine law, you can get it. You wouldn't believe how many emails, letters, and stuff that I got when I did a discovery during the Casey Anthony case. I've got a banker's box full of crap. They generated a hell of a lot of paperwork. yeah, it's best to give both vehicles out because he may own the Nissan but may not be driving it. So you might as well give all the information out. But the fact of the matter is that they were there because he did another one of his silly videos where he put the book up in the air and said, "Here's my book." I can do that. Old Timmy said, "Here's my book. That's my book. My book. The book of lies. All the lies. Lies, 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 lies." Timmy's little lying book there. Here's old Timmy on the back. Slap you in the face there, Timmy. Oh, jeez. Oh, I love it. But, the thing with it, and the funny thing he did, his latest stunt, is he had a picture up of these people in a tank or something. And there's an idiot over on Twitter. He goes by ad.astra. And it caught my attention for this reason. I saw the freaking movie. It's a science fiction movie starring Brad Pitt. He goes on a trip to Neptune, and they went into these cryonic chambers. And that's what is on the picture. But the idiot who made the tweet is claiming, kids are being this, that, or the other thing. They're being, I don't know what the hell it is. I'd have to bring up the tweet. But it's stupid because there's probably 10 million people that have seen that movie that are going to laugh when they see that picture because it's from a freaking movie. And Lori actually put up the fact that it came from 20th Century Fox. You do a reverse image search and the story's debunked within 10 seconds. It's debunked to me because I saw the freaking movie. The movie was made in 2019, I think. I mean, but they do this all the freaking time. They steal these pictures, they put their twist on it, and they put it back up again. And then when you go and do a reversed image, it's a complete lie. Even their little trademark pedophile Pentagon task force was stolen. It's a Air Force photo that an Air Force photographer took. And they edited the picture to take out the watermark that it was from the Department of Defense. Well, see, that's the thing of it. If they went all that way just to take a picture of a sign, then no harm, no foul. But if they're barging around in that case and talking to the family, then, the TBI is going to be pissed off at them. Number one, they're getting tired of people barging into that case. They're getting all kinds of weirdos that are coming in there and making a mess of that investigation. They are trying to find out where that child is. And they don't need people coming on there and sending letters saying that there's child traffickers that did an organized kidnapping and crap like that. That's not going to help. They are not interested in finding Summer Wells or any other child. They are interested in getting attention for themselves. Because going down there and flashing a book up in front of a sign is not going to find that child. That child is going to be found by good police work and somebody knowing what the hell happened to that child, coming forward and calling the authorities and saying, this is where the child is, period. And that being a genuine tip. Some moron saying he works for the PPTF and he's running around in a car full of garbage is not going to solve this case or any case. And there's talk that he's barged into the Michael Long situation with Sophie. And who knows where he's going to wind up next. I mean, we got a case down here in Lakeland, Florida that's related to QAnon. This guy killed like 4 or 5 people and said he did it because of QAnon. There's a guy out in California went down to Mexico and killed his kids, all because of QAnons. You're getting more and more and more and more of these cases where a QAnon is right smack in the middle of it. And yeah, firemen, they are pissed off. They've said they've heard from several people about this letter that they never got, and about the fact that this guy's parading around town bragging that he's doing stuff. And, you know, and I agree with you, Mommy. It is about money. I mean, there's a story out that I'm going to get into tomorrow night that there was $212,000 raised for Michael Long on this Sophie thing. $212,000. And that's not including the account that his mother has set up. I mean, there's a boatload of money going around with these people. It's amazing. And the Michael Long situation is the worst one because you've got people on both sides that think that they're right, and caught in the middle is this poor little girl who, we don't know her true feelings. We don't know where she is. We don't know if any harm's come to her. And she's being controlled. And I am not taking sides here. If Mike Long is justified in his argument, then let him come forward to the court and to the public and declare his case. He's not going to do himself any good hiding out with the child. He's making things worse for himself, and he's making things worse for the child. As the child is isolated, she's not allowed to socialize with any other children her age. They can't risk it because his child could go home and say, hey, I saw that girl. I was playing with that little girl that they're looking for in Texas. And that would be the end of that. And the audio that Levi Page played on his show was amazing. I mean, that woman is going around declaring Sophie's Army. This is a 911, 411. Everybody get their guns, go over and surround the motorhome and surround the child and shoot anybody that even looks at them cross-eyed. I mean, my God. I mean, couldn't believe it. I mean, that people have actually gotten that fanatical about that little girl that they would put her life at risk and the risk of people around her by running down there like a bunch of screwballs with guns, ready to shoot anybody that shows up. It's disgusting. But we're getting more and more of this. I mean, the insurrection of the Capitol proves that. I don't care where you fall politically. There is no reason to storm that building. And, everybody just saying that they're going to pick up a gun and start shooting people because they feel they're right is extraordinary. Yeah, that's correct. Guilty people avoid the court. I mean, and people are going to find out the hard way that you don't do that. Neely Blanchard has already found that out. I mean, she took the law in her own hands and executed Chris Hallett, and so she's going to do time in jail. She'll be lucky if she does not get the electric chair. She probably won't, or get, lethal injection. We don't do the gas chamber, or I don't think we do the electric chair anymore down here. But, she's never going to see daylight. She's definitely not going to see her children before they're adults. She blew that one. Cynthia Absug, there's going to be a hearing on the 16th, and that has to do with her her case about whether or not she's going to have any contact with her children, or if they're going to terminate her parental rights. And so, and since Cynthia Absug has got a hearing or got a trial coming up in January, that's going to determine whether or not she's going to go to jail. And if not for the kidnapping charge, then this child abuse by uh, this medical treatment charge that they're going to bring against her. So it's going to be a lot of things going on. And then we're going to have the trial of this character that killed his kids down in Mexico. We're going to have another case here in Lakeland, Florida, where this guy blew away families all because of QAnon. So the QAnon killing machine is going forward full tilt. It's going along. Um, it's just unbelievable. Yeah, I think it's going to be life without parole. Um, and Ariana Wills is another one. Well, no, Cynthia Absug has not been allowed to see her children since she was charged. And I believe this hearing on the 16th is going to address that. And I would be surprised if she's allowed even supervised visitation at that point because of the seriousness of the charges against her. But then again, you don't know. I mean, the best she could hope for is supervised visitation. Um, that might be correct. I mean, there's all kinds of grounds for TPR in that particular case, and I don't declare myself to be an expert, so I don't know where this case is going to go. What they're what what they're going to do. I think there's a distinct possibility that she will lose custody of the children. Um, it took her daughter to go to the authorities and make a statement that caused her to be arrested. She's on her way to Canada to escape justice. And, with they've got they've got the 3-part series from Northwest Liberty News to use in court if they so desire to prove that this lady should not have custody of her child. Cynthia Absug's children are in foster care. The fathers, there's more than one father of the children, are in Florida, as best I know. See, all this started in Florida. There was a custody situation in Florida. The divorces happened in Florida. She wanted to take her children or take her son to Colorado and worked it out with the state of Florida and the state of Colorado to do that. Both states agreed to it. She took the son to Colorado. It was when the son was taken to this medical facility, the Children's Hospital in Denver, Colorado, that they decided that there was this possibility of Munchausen's, that the child was being medically abused. And that's what led to the situation as we see it now. Yeah, this is the domino effect, John. I think that Phil McConnell is going to be the start of the domino effect, and that everybody is going to start falling as things start to come out, because it all depends on how Phil McConnell reacts on September 13th. What he says, if he says anything, what the conditions are of his release, what he does once he gets back to Plum City, as to how he's going to handle the causes of his being in this situation. he could, good night, Mama. Thanks for coming in. It could turn into where Field just decides to forget about it. He's just going to fade away and enjoy this retirement, or he's going to get mad because everything he's lost, and he's going to start seeking revenge from Timmy and the others for putting him in this situation in the first place, because he went off mission. He was not into this harassment of Kim Picasio and these other people. He had his veterans thing he was doing in the Zim bonds, and his angle on helping children. He wasn't at all involved with Timmy or CPS or any of this nonsense. He was dragged into it. He was persuaded into it. And that was his downfall. And so we see what's going to happen now. And with that, I think I'm going to close out. I ran 45 minutes over. The show went better than I thought. I appreciate all of you stopping in. And for those that see this later, again, I will be live tweeting from the courtroom on Monday. Court is supposed to start at 9 o'clock a.m. I'll probably be in court a little bit early. I will be outside the courthouse at 7:45 or so to give a little bit of a preview as to what we're going to see inside the court. Depending on how long it takes me to get to Fort Lauderdale on Sunday the 12th, there may be some extra things that I do in Fort Lauderdale. I'm going to go over and I'm going to look around the courthouse area, and so you might get a sneak preview of that. And there's also a couple things around town that I'm going to show off because it's an interesting town. So, that'll be on the slate for Sunday. I might do a mobile-thon where I'm driving down to Fort Lauderdale to where people can watch me driving down the Florida Turnpike and then over to 95 and so on and so forth. So we'll see how that goes. Sunday's going to be kind of like an ad lib. And so thank you, everybody, for coming in. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and stay tuned as the countdown to Fort Lauderdale continues. Good night and have a good one.